Hi, I'm Scarlet Page and I'm chatting with Milky. I've decided on bringing this exhibition Captures to behind the gallery. There's definitely an Australian tinge to the whole collection. I've chosen pictures that are some of my favourites and some of the ones that people have picked up on over the years. I've been taking photographs for about 30 years now, so there's quite a lot to choose from. But really, I just wanted to make it relevant by choosing some of the images that were shot in Australia or of Australian bands. And my first ever published shot was taken in Australia of Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, which made it to the back cover of a magazine. So it just felt like a nice sort of parallel. I started digitizing some of my archive, and for example with Silverchair, I knew I'd shot them, so I dug the pictures out and then found all these shots that I was like, oh, that's a great one and that's a great one. And so, scanning them all and retouching, and I could spend the rest of my life doing it with my archive. There's just so much, but I had to just stop and actually, apart from just thinking of the bands that I might want to include, I haven't done a big deep dive. That will come later. Well, so I suppose I've probably got more confidence as time goes on, but I still always give myself a bit of a hard time before each shoot, and always sort of have those sort of pre-shoot nerves with whoever I'm shooting. I think actually on reflection, now that it has been so long, I can see a common thread even from the beginning, which is quite nice because I never could really see a style before, but now I can see how they sort of fit together. I connected with Behind the Gallery, and they are Sydney-based, but we have got plans at some point, hopefully, to move it around, which would be amazing. But it's been so brilliant to be here. I've just enjoyed. Luckily, I've been here. We had the pictures printed here, so I had to get here in time to check those and sign them before they got framed. And so it's been a real luxury for me to spend some time here, actually, because the times I've been in Sydney before, I've been working and not really able to really experience Sydney as I am right now. So it's just great to take a bit more time. Well, I was quite reluctant to change from shooting film. Obviously, I started with film and processing my own black and white and printing, and I then didn't want to move to digital, but then did eventually, and do love shooting on digital. I've recently just moved to mirrorless as well, which has been great. But I use my phone a lot as well. I use it for a lot of social media, and I think my phone's brilliant, really. And if I go on holiday, I don't really take my camera. I use my camera for work. I am trying to do a little bit more sort of street photography and push myself there a little bit, but it's totally out of my comfort zone. I prefer being commissioned. But I think the great thing about being a photographer is just to keep pushing yourself and keep learning new things. And we do seem to have to do a lot more as a photographer than I ever used to have to do. But I think it's good to be on top of that and keep moving forward. Never to rest on your laurels, just to keep pushing yourself, to go out of your comfort zone and keep learning new skills, and just equipping yourself. No, I can't even say the word. Equip? It doesn't sound right. Well, anyway, just keep learning, and just because things keep changing and you have to change and adapt and, be as good as everyone else, if not better. So this shot of Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance was shot in 2010, I believe. I was pregnant with my son, and we were doing a feature for Kerrang magazine, and it was Black Parade. So I think when we got there, Gerard was feeling a bit, I think he was a bit under the weather. He had had an allergic reaction to some of the makeup that they wore every time, every night. So he was feeling a bit self-conscious about doing pictures, but we had to do some setup ones of the band. But then it was actually when we were doing the sort of candid shots backstage before they went on that it was a lot looser and more relaxed. And this was shot on RAW, but I think I really like it in black and white. So I'm don't always change everything to black and white, but I think it suited him. He's very photogenic. I just shot them recently on their tour last year, and got some. It was like the 3 songs rule, but I just completely shot the shit out of it because I wanted to get some good pictures. So this shot was for an album cover for a band called the Stereophonics, for their album Performance and Cocktails. And it was the singer, Kelly, had an idea based on an Annie Leibovitz photograph of prisoners kissing their partners outside the prison gates. And he had an idea for sort of like cropping it. So basically the album cover is like a crop of this, and then it was folded out to a gatefold and the vinyl. And this is the band members here. But it was a test. We didn't know if it was going to come off at all. So we hired a football pitch on the West Way in London, which is quite synonymous with The Clash, if you know the band. And yeah, we had an hour. We had a few models that were paid very little because like I said, it was a test. We didn't know if it was going to come together. But I knew exactly where I needed everyone to be. I had a bit of tracing paper in my medium format camera and had them all positioned. And it was a really grotty day, about to rain, but we got the shot, and it did make the cover, and it became quite an iconic image. So this shot of the Beastie Boys was taken really early days for me when I knew the tour manager of the Beastie Boys, and I was just sort of taking any shot that I could, and so this was an interview that they were doing, and they were sitting on some steps before they were performing a show, I think with Rage Against the Machine, and I just was just taking as many shots of anything that I could, and I just like the shapes in this one particularly, and again, as time has passed, it's sort of taken on sort of a bit more weight, I suppose, because we look back and it's captured a time in sort of the early 90s when they were doing Sure Shot and everything, and I just really like it.